we enter into that state. Then what should we do with I have a pain in the body, so I need a viveka, dispassion, clear mind should remain aware that I am not the body. After that, you take the best treatment of the body. Finished. Why? The body is changing. Remember these phrases, they give you a bite which test the mind. My Guruji used to say that this, don't say that body is suffering. Body itself is a disease. Now, if as long as I have the body, body is a disease. You see, you're moving into the very higher level of viveka and vairagya. But it does not mean if the body is a disease, I should not take care. Why I should not? Why should I should take care? Because I have an intellect. Intellect is supported by the consciousness. So whether it is body, for the last almost 3 years, I have left all the Indian food. Now I told you that I just converted into vegetables and fruits, and so I should take a right decision. So coming back, I loved in the beginning, I said this master is crazy when he says the body is a disease. Then he told me, no, birth is the disease, and the death is the disease. You see it clearly. How you see it? You see in your mind. So the highest level of a seeker constantly lives in that state where it perceives body, birth, and the death is it. But from where the body has come. So according to our teachings of the Eastern wisdom, the body is come from the impressions, past impressions. Prarabdha. Can I control the body to live for 200 years? No. 100% truth is there. I cannot. I can postpone. I can little bit, I think that I may postpone. Then why to worry? The thing which I do not have in my control. So worry comes from the mind. The mind says I am worthy of suffering, and then the problem comes. Now the topic is that topic is today is, are we the highest level of a seeker? You listen to the teacher, you learn, the mind has no doubt, intellect has a conviction, and the journey is undertaken. The very listening reveals the knowledge. Oh, body is death, body is, okay, body, birth, and the death. They all are diseases. So the mind perceives it clearly. What happens when the mind perceives clearly that this body, birth, and the death are all the diseases? Let me take care of the disease. Don't get attached. So when you are not attached, the mind does not interfere in listening and learning and receiving the knowledge. You receive the knowledge, you retain the knowledge, you realize the knowledge. See, receive, retain, realize the knowledge. That is the power of Shravanam. There are many texts in our, I told you, more than 3,000. So there are a couple of the text which says if you listen to the teacher from that text for 7 days, it only takes 7 days for liberation. So they are talking of that you are a highest level of a seeker. No, but one thing is clear. We are not the highest level of a seeker. It took me many, many years to realize the importance of it. We accept that, okay, we are not the highest level of a seeker, but we can become the highest level of a seeker. Why not become? So normally, non-seeker says that, okay, no, 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 I'm not like Buddha. You are more than the Buddha. At least Buddha could realize he entered into all kinds of pleasure. He married and then he had a son. He could not, you cannot detach yourself even after having more and more pleasure. He realized that this pleasure is short lived. So let me say goodbye and find out my permanent peace and happiness. So that statement, that state of the mind. So I have to learn from the Buddha, from where you got that state of the mind. There are many stories about the Buddha that Buddha looked at his son, looked at his wife last time in the middle of the night and he left. So that is a symbolic story. It is not that physically left. I developed that level of viveka and vairagya. But for the people who are non-seekers, we have to tell a good stories. We have to create a story. No, I cannot leave. I have a lot of responsibility. So you are not becoming in the journey of a seeker. After many years, I would say 12, 13 years, I felt the presence of my master. The very presence helped me to live into that Viveka and Vairagya. I realized that, oh, such a great presence. So, because the mind is highly receptive to live into that presence. Now, I'm breaking the unnecessary traditions, unnecessary feelings. Normally people say, no, 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 I don't want to talk to that guy. He has a negative vibration. Why don't you check whether from where you feel the negative vibration? First, you have a negative vibration in your mind. And who the hell you are to check that others have a negative vibration when the existence has given him the opportunity to live? And then the story goes, you have a negative vibration. I talk about it, so the people stop talking to you, and I remain frustrated. That is not the journey of the seeker. Negative vibrations. You are the God who knows the negative vibration. It proves that you can never be the seeker. We have nothing to do with anyone else in the world. So one master says that highest level of a seeker, then you are a medium level of a seeker. Medium level of a seeker, you receive the knowledge, but then it becomes difficult to retain the knowledge fully. You retain the knowledge maybe 50%. Just before I was giving a lesson to this guy. He said, "Sir, I heard the topic you said, I am not worthy of suffering." So I went to the office and I saw a lot of people, and then the mind was attached. But then I remembered the mind created its own world, and I got attached and I started feeling kind of an anxiety. The moment I remembered that I'm not worthy of suffering, it is created by the mind there, and then the mind became clear. That is the power of listening and learning. And when we are a medium seeker, when we are doing the practice, the mind returns with lot of stuff from the past impressions. I have to analyze that. I have to recognize that. What are the obstacles? What are the thoughts that keeps on repeating in every meditation? And then you have to tell me. One thing is, even if you don't tell me, you should be able to resolve it, well and good. But we should understand. We should understand. In the morning, I was lying down. I was doing one posture. So normally I do two or three postures, 15 minutes each. So it takes me about an hour. So perhaps after 5 minutes, mind says no. Now it's a time to leave that. But I said there is no buzz. I have kept a Gen watch. Did I tell you?
No. Yes, watch of was a smartphone watch.
No, no, it's a Gen watch. So it gives you the 5 minutes time. You simply change its position. So one position 5 minutes, another position 15 minutes, third position 30 minutes, fourth position 45, and then 60 minutes. It's available everywhere. How much? Now it will buzz after 30 minutes.
Yes, yes, I understand the principle.
Yeah, oh, you are an engineer, so I said, oh, so I got this. I was looking somewhere, some news, and I said, this is very good. So I could check my mind that no, I have decided 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is 15-minute mind. You're not going anywhere. I am doing the posture, so I will remain in that posture. You play with me, but I'm ready. I will not leave you once the 15 minute is complete. So what happened? Now the mind does not play with me. It says he is not listening now. So we have to do it with understanding, with a clarity, conviction, clarity, conviction, doubt. So otherwise, what will say? The mind will say, now if you continue to do this, it will happen. So I put one hour of meditation. So someday the mind, maybe past impression may return. And now what happens? Even the buzz continues and I continue. Let the buzz, 1 hour has gone and still I continue. So that does not disturb. So that is, you can do with the mantra. We can do it with the mantra, we can do it with this Gen watch, or we can do. So we have to see how each and every thing in the world should become my helper. That is the challenge uh, when we are a medium level of a seeker. Honey says you are crazy, you don't get upset. Daughter says, no, I won't listen to you, you don't get crazy. You are not upset. And the lowest level of a seeker, a lot of work to do. lot of practices. You can do kundalini, you can do mantra, you can do tantra, you can do, engage your mind. So, you see that in kundalini, you have to remember the breathing, you have to remember the mantra, you have to remember, you have to focus on a god and goddesses on a particular center. And uh, so it means your mind has still to evolve to reach to that level where you can get rid of all that, and then who knows how long it takes. Now, see, with that clarity and understanding, the highest level of a seeker, did I tell you Nisargdat Maharaj? You have, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, you might have heard. So he went to the master, and master says, "You are of the nature of the real self, that is peace, happiness, love, and wisdom." Now he came back to his house and he closed his eyes. He said, "Master cannot be selfish. There is no reason that he can be selfish. He says real self is within you. It is in the cave of your heart. It is of the nature of the peace and happiness." So Nisargdat followed the journey that any time I have a stress, I have to remember that my peace is my essential nature. Now I'm giving an expression in my own way. Finished. He reached to that state. First, first session, first listening, and done. Highest level of a seeker. So, who made you the highest level of a seeker? Your mind, your understanding, your knowledge. Not your breathing, not your mantra, not your long list. It's all a knowledge. And here I compare with the Narad. You have heard about the Narad Muni, Narad Master who wrote Bhakti Yoga. He was expert in more than 64 branches of Eastern wisdom. That includes fighting ability and fighting with the sword and astrology and what and what not. He went to the master and he said, after learning all the 64 different branches of the science, I am still upset. Message is clear. Message is clear. And then he learned. Vivekananda. You think that what Vivekananda did, what Nisargadatta did. Is there a God? Yes, Ramakrishna said. Can I see? Yes. Are you ready? So his focus was, how can I be ready to see the God? That is the that is how the mind moves of a highest seeker. The mind moves of a highest seeker. Arvindo, I remember, I told you before, Master Lele, first time First time he returned from Britain, he went to the Master Lele. He said, "Let me practice meditation." In those days, he was a great master. Master Lele looked at him. He said, "Close your eyes." First instruction. Second instruction, watch and observe the thoughts are coming from outside. And third, before these thought enters into your mind, throw it away. Let it remain outside. Only three instructions, and he was sitting in meditation for 10 hours. No, we have to adventure. We have to let me do it. If Sri Aurobindo can do it, I can do it. If Vivekanand can do it, I can do it. If Nisargadatta can do it, I can do it. With that belief in the mind. Again, another principle comes, I'm just going little subtler. That is why we say you have to trust the master 100%. You have to follow the master in a disciple tradition, not because the master is greater than the student, but to change the mind. See, we have to understand now totally everything in a different way. Oh, so master and disciple tradition, I have to bow down, I have to say namaste, I have to surrender. It is all because I have to change my mind. Otherwise, there is no teacher, there is no disciple at all. So I'm giving these bites of knowledge and the teachings. We have to question why we have to bow down to the master, because mind must change its direction. It is engaged in the things created by itself. It lives in its own shell. This mind must get out. Who becomes the seeker? The mind becomes the seeker. Body does not become the seeker. So Shravan means the master attacks the mind of a seeker. It wants you to drop what is not required. It wants you to accept what is required. So when we have 100% belief, the mind then, if the mind causes any challenges, you tackle the mind. You tackle the mind. You don't say, I have been breathing for 5 minutes and I cannot do it for 5 minutes. Who says I cannot do it for 5 minutes? Mind.
Mind.
That is what the understanding is. Look at it, look at it, look at it. We have to rationalize, we have to reason so that we can arrive at the knowledge. If the tiger is chasing you, will you not run even for 10 minutes, and you are talking of 5 minutes of breathing? What you're talking about? You see the logic? We want to get rid of the ignorance of the mind. Mind, you can do anything you want to do. And this is the journey of the life and the death. You have to get rid of that instinctive, impulsive, habitual mind in order to become the highest level of a seeker, but supported by viveka and vairagya, not suppression, not demonstrating that I can stand on 1 feet or I can stand on my head for an hour or I can hold the breath. No, it doesn't mean anything. We don't become an extraordinary, we remain as an ordinary person. Why? The knowledge must lead me to humility. I'm giving you many bites of that, whatever is coming to my head. You go to the Harvard and you say, I'm a Harvard graduate. Arrogance is there. Here the master says, no arrogance, please. Humility, receptivity should continue if you remain humble. If you do not remain humble, arrogance means the ego. Ego means it will start living in its own shell. Even after 20 years of your practice in the spirituality will go waste. Now check it, understand, just imagine, think. What kind of a mind Nisargadatta had when he thought, my master told me peace is my essential nature. Hence, let me check what prevents me not to live in peace. So he is already a seeker. He is doing his own sadhana. And his master said, "You are right. Go ahead." What made Aurobindo to sit for 10 hours only by 3 instructions? We heard and we can hear millions of instructions from the about meditation on the Google. Nothing changes. So it means there is something in my mind which is preventing me, which is blocking me. I must take over the mind. Not only taking over the mind for an hour during the meditation, but all the time. How? By all the time. I cannot do breathing. No, you need not to do breathing. How can I do mantra? No, you need not to do mantra. I maintain an awareness. Mind, do I follow you or you follow me? Even moving your fingers, even talking to someone. You know what happens? The humility is always there then. Arrogance is not there. Arrogance comes from the habit, from the information that you accumulate, it is not realized. Receive, retain, and realize. So when you have retained that knowledge, you have realized it has gone inside. It does not remain at the ego level. So arrogance is not there. Think, think. I'm stimulating your mind. The Master Lely, Swami Vivekananda, Arvind Buddha. What is the state of the mind of the Buddha who, while seeing the old man, returned to the home and started contemplating? Can I also become old? Can I also not walk? So when I intensify my inquiry all the time, I become an intense seeker. I have a desire for freedom. How can I be free from this? And what is the realization that we have already? I'm not the body. Let the body become old. Body is already a disease. Body is already a disease. See? See, and I'm bringing everything, it's all about Shravanam, listening and learning, and then we move into that state. We can say it's all about awareness. Obviously, it's all about awareness. So don't see, my friend, don't see that, oh, I have to be dedicated and committed. It all comes into self-awareness program. When? All the time. In what location? All the locations. In what relations? In all the relationships. I can continue my sadhana when I'm with my mom or honey or profession or driving. I used to go to a doctor who hired me for 2.5 years. "45 minutes of drive from my home here." So in that 45 minutes of the drive, I said, "Mind where you want to be." So I started with the chest breathing. 45 minutes of chest breathing. Week after week, after 3 months, I said, my mind says now 45 minutes is complete and her house is there. Mind can do any damn thing, provided you make the mind follow you. So doctor used to say, "Oh, you seem to be I always see you so fresh. Even after driving 45 minutes, it becomes a hell of my job if I drive for 30 minutes. She was very intelligent, wise. I said, this is what I do. I change the direction of the mind. Body has to work what it has to do with the driving. And the mind fully knows how to drive. So why not use the mind in something else? Oh, you do this 45 minutes? I said, yes. Come with me and see. While coming to your house and going. It is not spatial thing. Your mind will reveal these tips by yourself. Oh, I am working in the office, I have to do like this. I am working there, I have to do like this. Medium level of a seeker, they face many challenges. Every time you want to drive for 45 minutes, no, I'll have a lot of stress. So what should I do? Let me take a soda, let me take whatever, other drinks, energy drink, so that I can give a lesson. There is no need. So that mind, I have to see the willingness of the mind, I have to see the receptivity of the mind when I have to see it, there and then. That is the meaning of living from a moment to moment. Mindfulness, living from a moment to moment. So, again, going back, how to increase that receptivity and the retention by discernment and dispassion. Again, you come back to the same thing. What is discernment? You start thinking consciously. So when you start thinking consciously, you are able to separate what is required and what is not. So now I will, something is more is coming. I discussed, and that is also right. So how we purify the mind by doing the nitya karma, namitya karma. That is how we purify the mind. Without doing an action, we cannot purify the mind. That principle is for those who are becoming a seeker, which is the highest method to purify the mind, self inquiry. What self inquiry entails? Discernment and dispassion. You see, now everything comes together, are clubbed together. I am aware, I rationalized, I did the viveka, I filtered out what is not required. Now, what is required, I have to translate that into action. That is nitya karma. My nitya karma with you, I have to talk. I have to give you the deeper insight. So, when the mind lives in the state of discernment that you know already, then I have to speak. I have to remain focused on. I'm already doing nitya karma. Again, I'm repeating. But it does not mean that we should leave the nitya karma. That comes by default. And we recognize it. It becomes a joy. It becomes a peace. It becomes a happiness. Are you getting it? Self inquiry is the highest method to purify the mind. Now I'm using that. It is for the highest level of a seeker. Self inquiry. Why self inquiry? Because ultimately the attitude and the behavior of the mind translates into an action. When I'm doing a self inquiry, the mind will be clear. It will follow the path of the Shreyas. Then I translate everything into an action. The life is very casual. Everywhere it is so casual. Are you getting it? But we keep the nitya karma and nimitya karma. We keep in our mind. But first the self inquiry, then everything becomes natural. That is another way to live from moment to moment. The lowest level of a seeker cannot do. Lowest level of a seeker cannot do it. Can do it, will succeed, but he has to listen. He has to do lot of practices, and every time he returns with lot of complaint. You never complain, but he returns with a lot of complaint, and then we have to modify the practice. Okay, we will do that, we will do this, continue. So if one continues the journey, the time comes, he moves into the middle level of a seeker. Remember, again understand how the lowest level of a seeker becomes the medium level of a seeker. We're just we are just exchanging that knowledge. It is passing on to your mind and you become clear. So question is how this person moves, transitions from the lowest level of a seeker to the medium level of a seeker to the highest level of a seeker. By knowledge only. Practices are byproduct. Practices are secondary. No, no. Our mind says, I did not understand. That is the beauty of the journey of the Eastern wisdom. We feel we are failing, we are frustrated, I cannot do it. That is, Master is saying, no. Find out the answer. Why you are failing? You are not failing, mind is failing. How the mind is failing? So I remember from the teaching of another master, we have already understood the highest level of a seeker, medium level of the lowest level of a seeker in relationship to the mind. So now in relationship to the mind, this master says there the entire human being, the entire human race can be divided into four categories. Lowest categories is known as Palmer. Second category is known as Vishayi. Third category is known as Jigyasu. And the fourth category is known as Gyani. Palmer. We all want happiness. So this category of the people says eat, drink and be merry. That is the goal of the life from where I get the happiness. I have never heard real self, nor I am interested into that. You can find people around you. You can find your employees saying, you don't understand, I have a family and the children, and you are paying very less to me. After all, I have to maintain, I have to go back to my house. Not interested, habitual, instinctive, impulsive people. Everywhere. in our family, around our friends, and everywhere you find 90% of the people are palmer. They even hear that there is a meditation, they are not interested. Or even if they are interested, just to relax. Or even they don't want to relax by meditation, they say, oh, one beer is enough to relax. Little more money will help me become happy. Have you heard the news of the Sam Freed, under 40, cryptocurrency? He attracted a lot of people around the world. He earned $15 billion. He took the money of a lot of people. I'll tell you how to invest in cryptocurrency. Now he has to answer in the Senate committee. Possibly he will go to jail for 30 years. But for the last 2 years, everyone was praising Sam. How much money? $15 billion. What is his age? Under 40. Palmer. We get our mind mind catches the attention of these people by default. It's not a fault of the mind. It catches the attention, but I don't think I'm a palmer. I was telling the other day, I have that level of the greed is present in the mind. So one person has a greed for maybe $500. Other person has a greed for $5 billion, but the greed is the same. Whether you say $500 or 5 billion. But why? That mind believes blindly peace, happiness, love, and wisdom lies in these things in the world, in these activities in the world. They don't want to cheat anybody. They are not aware they are cheating. Where their awareness is that they are getting peace and happiness. If I am the judge, I will never prosecute these people. They don't think they are doing something wrong. Palmer. But why I say so? They are living life unconsciously, animal life. So the first message comes from Eastern wisdom: we have not to live the animal life. No way, at any cost, at any time. Because you don't listen to me, hence I should be angry over you, animal life. Expand it. Think of it. I should be agitated. No, no. No, but I can act angry, yes. I can fight. That fight is a play, yes, to get the things done. But I don't want. So that is the first category. They don't know it. They don't want to know it. They don't know it. They don't want to know it. Second category is Vishayi. Vishay means object. Object, you can take the objective word. They are totally obsessed with the objective world. Only difference between the first and the second category, that for the sake of the objective world, for some time they become a devotee, for some time they attend some meditation session, for some time, for a few days, they say, okay, I will listen to you. Will I get some money? Will I get the benefit? One Sikh was there long back, I remember. He used to attend my 5 days program I used to give in India, 25 hours, 5 hours every day. So that Sikh has an air conditioning shop. So he attended at least, I would believe, that 6 or 7 programs, and he continued that practice. He changed his behavior and attitude, and after the 6 months, for 1 year, he continued to come to me, and he forced me that he must touch my feet in front of everyone. I said, okay, it's okay. I said, okay. But then he told me, you see that? My income doubled in the first 3 months. My income tripled in another 6 months. How can I not touch your feet? So it appears they are doing meditation, they are highly religious people, they are very spiritual people, but
You
You
won't
won't
get
get
profit.
profit.
objective reality. That is the second category. They extract the masses from the teaching of a teacher to get the benefit, and the rest they leave it. You are right, sir. I know. I'm not a Buddha, so I'm okay. I have an air conditioning job, so I can sell 50 pieces. I can earn money. So that is the only difference between in the first category, the palmer category, they don't know what they are doing. Here they know what they are doing for the sake of material prosperity. Third category is the jigyasu. When we say jigyasa, I have an intense desire for freedom and to bring an end to the suffering. Mind lives into that awareness. Mind lives into that state. I want to bring an end to the suffering once and for all, and I want to awaken to my inner peace and happiness. You see, in the fourfold practices, we have Viveka, we have Vairagya, we have Shat Sampatti, the 6 treasures, and the fourth is intense desire. Think. Now contemplate. My mind must have an intense desire. This intense desire will not come if I do not have a 6 treasure. But the 6 treasure will come only because of dispassion, and the dispassion will only come because of discernment. So I have to live in discernment and dispassion all the time. Then only I can have an intense desire. See how the masters, it's like a physics principle. You are an engineer, purely a physics principle. Cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. See that? See the beauty. We forget discernment and dispassion. We say, let me awaken the kundalini, awaken the kundalini. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing has happened. Are you understanding that one? I should have an intense desire. And that intense desire means what? I am aware of what I want all the time. When I wake up in the morning, when I am going to the office, when I am returning home, when I am talking to my honey, think, think. That is what the intense desire is. So now you see that, is it not very clear? Intense desire is mumukshu, Sanskrit word, and how the masters have laid down these fold practices are common, explained indirectly, directly by all the masters. Patanjali says, do you have an intense desire for freedom? So he uses the word, the very first sutra Patanjali, very first, and the first word, only one word, ath. Ath yoga anushashanam. So now you are a seeker. Now. Ath means now you are a seeker. Hence I start the discipline of yoga. So now you are a seeker means you have an intense desire that came from the six treasures, and the six treasures came from the dispassion, and dispassion came from the discernment. I have to keep my intellect active all the time to live into Shreyas, to follow what is right and good in my life. So, and it should be put into the mind so that I have a dispassion. In that state of a dispassion, all the six treasures will come on its own. You are relaxed all the time. Then you see the importance what Krishna says, we are not worthy of suffering. When you are in meditation, you do meditation regularly, must do it, but now you recognize mind, wait, and it waits. You complete your journey, and the mind forgets the disturbances. You live into that awareness. So, whether I say you are the highest level of a seeker, whether I say you have an intense desire for freedom, an end to the suffering, whether I say out of the four you are jigyasu, the third category, every master explains differently, but they talk of the same thing. I combine the teachings of at least four masters together. So once you retain that knowledge, as we move further, you will realize, oh, how easy it is. Sadhana is the easiest thing to do. It is the first category, do not recognize if there is any sadhana. He says, my sadhana is to eat, drink, and be merry. So he does not know, he does not realize. He is totally living life unconsciously, like the animal life. Who says, I believe if Vivekananda, no, Aurobindo said, there is another way to understand. You see the beauty. Animal, man. Man, man. God, man. Three categories. Before the man, first category is animal man. First category. He does not know what he is doing. Animals do not know what they are doing. Man and man. So he left the second category. He says man and man, jigyasu. You are a seeker. And God man, you have realized God. You are awakened. And that is the fourth category. So the word is used, the fourth category. You are a knower. Now, did you understand that why I started? We were talking about the three types of the knower. So I came back to the same the knower. Knower means that you know the real self, witness consciousness. So, animal man, as long as I'm the animal man, this mind will cause millions of problems every day. Man and man, Jigyasu, I am the highest level of a secret. God man, I have realized. Even if sometime I am taking a shower, the mind returns to the past impression, and the second part of the mind says, crazy, stop it. And sometimes I speak so loudly that everyone hears it. And they say, what happened? Oh, no, 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 nothing happened. And the mind stops. Though, because of that past impression, this body exists. But it changes instantly. And sometimes the impression returns and the mind is saying Om Namah Shivaya. The people hear Om Namah Shivaya. My mind speaks so loudly. What happened? Nothing happened. Now it happened many a times, so people know that this guy is crazy, so leave him. So every master, when you reach to that state, you find the different ways to live your life. Because it is the real self that will manifest in its own way. You don't know how it will manifest. So sometimes it manifests because out of sometime it manifests as a total love, sometime it manifests in the name of the poetry that Tulsidas wrote, the great epic, Arvindo literature. Sometime it manifests in the form of kundalini, so you start teaching kundalini, everything is good. Think we will go back to the journey of the three knowers again. That is all.